Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Have you ever thought about your dinner as the reward at the end of a long, hard day? I see this all the time in my practice. You rush around, you're busy, and finally you're home. You sit down with your family to a big, comforting meal. Maybe it is a rich, slow-cooked pork belly, some fried fish, a cold beer, and a huge bowl of white rice. It feels like living the good life, right? Like you're finally taking care of yourself. Well, I'm here as your family doctor to have a slightly uncomfortable conversation with you. As satisfying as that meal feels, I have to be really honest with you. From a medical standpoint, that reward could be quietly stealing something precious from you. It could be stealing your memories. We're seeing more and more research suggesting a very strong link between our daily dinner habits and our risk for developing Alzheimer's disease and other dementias later in life. And I'm not saying this just to scare you. This really is a growing concern in the medical community. Think of your brain like a high performance engine. It runs hard all day processing information, keeping you going. At night, it needs to rest, to repair and rebuild. It needs the right kind of fuel to do that. But if you consistently fill the tank with the wrong stuff before you shut it down for the night, you're not helping it repair. Instead, you're creating toxic buildup, you're causing inflammation, and you're actually accelerating the decline of your brain cells. That is what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to expose 5 specific dinner combinations that act like hidden troublemakers on your table. I see so many patients, especially in their 50s and 60s, who eat this way every single day and feel totally fine. But the damage is slow and silent. Their memory doesn't just vanish overnight, it erodes, meal by meal. Until one day you can't find your car keys in the parking lot, or you forget the way home from the grocery store, or you struggle to remember your own child's name. And by then, it is really, really hard to reverse. But here's the good news and the reason I made this video. No matter how old you are, if you start making changes today, you can absolutely protect your brain. I'm going to break down these 5 dinner brain busters one by one, and at the end, I'll give you a simple, powerful formula for a dinner that actually helps rebuild your brain health. So please stick around for that. Before we dive in, if you're watching this because you care about your health or the health of your parents, please hit that subscribe button right now. That way you won't miss the practical science-backed tips we share every week. And if this information resonates with you, give the video a thumbs up. You can also drop a comment below with the number 1 if this is helpful, or share it with someone you care about. I'd love to hear from you. Let's get started. Dinner Brain Buster number 1. Simple carbs plus saturated fat. This is the classic combo, and it is probably the most common dinner in America. We're talking white rice and braised pork belly, a big plate of pasta with meat sauce, rice cakes with fried chicken, or even just a giant bowl of noodles with a rich meat sauce. It is that meal that feels so satisfying after a long day. You might be thinking, Doc, I've eaten rice and noodles my whole life. How can it suddenly be poison now? That is a fair question. The issue isn't the food itself. It is the quantity and the timing at night. Your activity level drops significantly. Your body simply doesn't need that huge surge of energy. When you eat a massive amount of refined carbs, white rice, white bread, regular pasta, white noodles, your body breaks them down incredibly fast. We're talking minutes. It is like throwing a pile of kindling on a fire. It causes your blood sugar to spike dramatically like a roller coaster shooting straight up. And here is where it gets scary. A major study published in the Lancet, one of the most respected medical journals in the world, found that consistently high blood sugar is a primary culprit in what we call vascular brain damage. Imagine your blood vessels soaking in sugary syrup day after day, year after year. They become brittle, they get damaged, and they start to clog up, especially the tiny, delicate vessels deep in your brain. When those vessels clog, the brain cells they supply don't get oxygen or nutrients. They slowly starve to death. This is what we call a silent stroke. You might not have sudden paralysis or the classic signs of a stroke, but your reaction time slows down, your memory gets foggy, and your cognitive function can take a nosedive. In fact, some experts now call Alzheimer's disease type 3 diabetes because it involves the brain becoming resistant to insulin and unable to use its fuel properly. The brain essentially starves even though there is sugar floating right around it. So does this mean you can't have any carbs at dinner? Absolutely not. Your brain needs fuel to function, but we need to be smart about the type of carbs and the quantity. Let's do a simple swap that I recommend to my patients all the time. Starting tonight, replace half of that white rice or those noodles with something better. You have 3 great options. Number 1, whole grains, throw in a handful of corn grits or some millet and cook it with your rice. Number 2, legumes, add some lentils, chickpeas, or kidney beans to your meal. They're packed with fiber, and that fiber acts like a net, trapping sugar and slowing down that blood sugar spike. Number 3, starchy vegetables. roast some sweet potato, have some boiled yams or taro instead of that dinner roll or extra rice. These complex carbs do two amazing things. They stabilize your blood sugar, reducing that vascular damage, and they're rich in B vitamins, which are absolutely essential for healthy nerves and brain function. Remember this simple rule from your family doctor tonight: a smarter carb choice tonight equals a sharper brain tomorrow. Dinner brain buster number 2, high saturated fat meats. This one is for the meat lovers out there. I'm talking about a dinner centered around a big pot of fatty pork belly, the kind that is melt in your mouth tender, or a plate of rich braised pork, maybe some pork ribs, or even just cooking everything in a big spoonful of creamy white lard because it makes everything taste better. And look, I get it, fatty meat tastes good. It is satisfying. It is comfort food. But eating a lot of saturated fat, especially at night, is like throwing an inflammation bomb directly at your brain. And the newest research is showing a really scary mechanism that I want you to understand. Saturated fat can actually break down the integrity of something called the blood-brain barrier. Think of the blood-brain barrier as a highly secure, high-tech wall around your brain. Its job is to keep toxins, bacteria, viruses, and other harmful stuff floating around in your blood from ever getting into this super delicate command center. If you're flooding your system with saturated fat night after night, that wall starts to get weak. It becomes leaky. Imagine that secure wall turning into a rusty fence once it is compromised. Inflammatory compounds can sneak right in and trigger neuroinflammation, which is just a fancy word for brain inflammation. This inflammation then accelerates the buildup of a toxic protein called beta amyloid. And beta amyloid plaque is one of the hallmark signs of Alzheimer's disease. It is the garbage that clogs up the brain. The data here is really striking. Studies show that people with a high intake of saturated fat have a significantly higher risk of developing Alzheimer's compared to those who eat less. We're talking close to double the risk, about 87% higher. That is huge for that nightly indulgence. You're nearly doubling your risk of losing your memories. Look, you need protein, especially as we age, to prevent muscle loss. So how can you enjoy meat safely without putting your brain at risk? Here is what I tell my patients. Follow the land, air, sea rule for dinner. First, the best choice is sea. Prioritize fish and seafood: salmon, trout, shrimp, scallops. Fish are packed with omega-3 fatty acids, which are amazing for your brain. They're anti-inflammatory, they help regulate your cholesterol, and they actually help clean your blood vessels. They're brain medicine on a plate. Second, a good choice is air. If you want poultry, go for chicken or turkey breast. But here is the key: you must remove the skin. That is where all the extra saturated fat hides. The skin might be delicious, but your brain will thank you for skipping it. Third, use sparingly. That is land. If you're having red meat like beef or pork, make it a lean cut and keep the portion small. Think about the size of a deck of cards and try to avoid the heavily marbled cuts and the ribs at night. Save those for a rare weekend treat, not your daily dinner. Dinner brain buster number 3, the high sodium dinner. This is the dinner that is absolutely loaded with salt. Think spicy hot pot, the kind with the numb tingling sensation. Think boiled fish in chili oil. Think preserved meats, pickled vegetables, sausages, and lunch meats. Maybe you're tired after work and you just order some takeout, or you throw together a simple meal of porridge with some salty pickles and fermented tofu on the side. And here is another one. When you're cooking, your hand slips and you add a little too much salt, or you get heavy-handed with the soy sauce and oyster sauce. We all know salt is bad for our blood pressure. That has been drilled into us for years, but did you know it is also a major accomplice in brain decline? There are two main ways a high salt dinner hurts your brain, and I want you to really understand this. First, the blood vessel damage. Too much salt raises the pressure inside your blood vessels. It increases something called osmotic pressure. That increased pressure can cause tiny injuries to the delicate inner lining of your vessels. Think of it like scratching the inside of a copper pipe over and over. Your body then tries to repair those scratches, and that repair process can lead to plaque buildup. The vessels narrow. And what happens when the pipes to your brain get narrow? Blood flow decreases. A chronically underfed brain is a shrinking brain. It is like a plant you forget to water. It just withers away. Second, and this is really fascinating new research that I don't think enough people know about. High salt intake can actually steal a key protein from your brain cells. Excess salt can reduce the production of a molecule called nitric oxide. Think of nitric oxide as your brain's communication system. It helps brain cells talk to each other. When nitric oxide levels drop because of too much salt, a critical protein inside your neurons called tau protein can start to malfunction. It becomes phosphorylated. which is a fancy way of saying it gets twisted and toxic. This directly damages the structure of the neurons and leads to severe cognitive problems. In simple terms, a dinner that is too salty can literally dehydrate and short circuit your brain cells. It is like pouring salt on a slug. So what if you feel like food just tastes bland without salt? I hear this from my older patients all the time. They say, "Doc, my mouth has no taste. I can't swallow food if it is not salty." I get it, but we can fix this without destroying your brain. Here are 3 easy ways to cut back on salt without sacrificing flavor. Number 1, use natural flavor builders. Cook with lots of aromatics, garlic, onions, ginger, scallions, shallots. Use fresh herbs, lemon juice, vinegar, and spices. Acidity from tomatoes or citrus and heat from chili can do wonders to replace the flavor of salt without the actual sodium. Number 2, flush it out with water. If you know you had a salty meal, and I mean really salty, drink plenty of water afterward, not soda, not juice. Water helps your kidneys dilute and flush out that excess sodium. It is your body's natural detox system. Number 3, call in the antidote, potassium. Potassium is sodium's natural counterbalance in the body. Load your dinner plate with high potassium foods. Think potatoes, spinach, oranges, bananas. These foods help your body push the sodium out and keep your electrolyte balance in check. It is like having a cleanup crew for your blood vessels. Dinner brain buster number 4, grilled meat plus sugary drinks. This is the ultimate aging combo. And I see it everywhere. Think about a summer evening. You're at a barbecue or a street fair. You grab a few skewers of grilled fatty meat, some grilled fish, and you wash it down with an ice cold Coke or a bottle of sugary juice, or maybe it is the convenience of takeout. You order some fried chicken and pair it with a sweet, creamy bubble tea. There are 2 major dangers here, and both of them are directly toxic to your brain. First, the high heat cooking. When you cook meat at very high temperatures above 400 degrees Fahrenheit, especially grilling, broiling, or frying, it creates toxic compounds called advanced glycation end products. In the medical world, we actually call them ages, and that is appropriate because they literally age you. You can think of ages as aging factors. When they form in your food and then circulate in your blood and reach your brain, they trigger massive oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is like rust forming on your brain cells. It dramatically speeds up cell damage and cell death. Every time you have a grilled or fried meat dinner, your brain rusts just a little bit more. Do that for years and years, and your brain ages much, much faster than it should. Second, the sugary drink, the massive sugar dump from a soda, a sweet tea, or a bubble tea causes a huge spike in your blood sugar and insulin. This roller coaster leads to brain dysfunction. We have research showing that high sugar intake directly impairs brain function. One study found something truly alarming. Compared to people who don't drink sugary beverages, people who had 2 or more sugary drinks a day had a significantly higher risk of developing dementia. We're talking about a 34% increased risk. That is not nothing. Sugar is making your brain sluggish, inflamed, and sticky. So how can you enjoy these foods more safely? Because I know they're everywhere. Here are my practical tips. Number 1, choose your cooking method wisely. Whenever possible, opt for steaming, boiling, or stewing your food. If you do grill or fry, and I know sometimes you just want that flavor, please avoid eating the charred, blackened parts. Those are the most concentrated sources of those age toxins. Number 2, add an antidote to your plate. If you're having grilled or fried food, pair it with foods high in vitamin C. Think kiwis, bell peppers, fresh chili peppers. Broccoli vitamin C is a powerful antioxidant that can help neutralize some of those ages. It is like having a shield for your brain cells. Number 3, swap the drink. This is the easiest win. Ditch the soda. Just get rid of it. Have a glass of unsweetened iced tea with lemon. Or even better, a glass of plain sparkling water. If you want something creamy and satisfying, try a small unsweetened Greek yogurt. The probiotics are great for your gut health, and we now know that a healthy gut is directly linked to a healthy brain through something called the gut-brain axis. It is 1,000 times better for you than that sugar water. Dinner brain buster. Number 5, a drink with dinner. I know this one might be controversial, but I have to be honest with you as your doctor. This is a big one. Think about it. A cold beer with some peanuts, a glass of red wine with your steak, a whiskey with your barbecue. Please remember this. When it comes to your brain health, alcohol is a direct toxin. There is no safe dose for brain health. I need you to really hear that. Let me explain why alcohol and its main breakdown product, a chemical called acetaldehyde, can directly cross that blood-brain barrier we talked about. They get right through the security wall, and once inside, they directly poison your neurons. They damage the nerve cell membranes, causing the neurons to degenerate and die. A landmark study published in Nature Communications, which is one of the top scientific journals in the world, confirmed this. They found that any level of alcohol consumption is associated with a reduction in the brain's gray matter and white matter. Gray matter is the stuff that does the processing, the thinking, the remembering. Even if you're only having one drink a day, your brain volume is slightly shrinking. It is like a walnut slowly drying out and shriveling up. Alcohol also causes blood vessels to spasm and harden, and this, especially in older adults, dramatically increases the risk of an ischemic stroke. That is a stroke where blood flow to part of the brain is blocked. A major stroke doesn't just potentially cause paralysis. It can absolutely devastate your cognitive function, leading to something called vascular dementia. So my professional recommendation for optimal brain health is simple: zero alcohol. None. If you want to protect your brain, the best choice is to not drink at all. Now, I'm a realist. I've been practicing medicine long enough to know that telling someone to never have another drink for the rest of their life is not always realistic. So if you are going to have a drink, especially at a social gathering like Thanksgiving or a birthday party, please try to follow these harm reduction strategies. Number one, never drink on an empty stomach. Eat your meal first. Food in your stomach slows the absorption of alcohol into your bloodstream. Number two, sip slowly. Don't chug. Give your liver time to process the alcohol. Number three, eat your greens. A big serving of leafy green vegetables is rich in folate and B vitamins. These nutrients can offer a tiny bit of protection against some of the neurological damage from alcohol. It is not a free pass, but it helps. Whew, that was a lot of information. I know I threw a lot at you, and if your head is spinning a little bit, don't worry. I want to leave you with something simple and actionable. A golden plate formula for dinner that protects your brain. Please write this down or just remember it. For your dinner plate, aim for this: 1 part smart carbs plus 1 part lean protein plus 2 parts colorful vegetables plus a big glass of water. That is it. That is your brain protection dinner. So to quickly recap our 5 brain busters before you go. Number 1, simple carbs plus saturated fat. Swap half your white rice for beans or sweet potato or corn. Number 2, heavy fatty meats. Swap Fab-raised pork belly for baked salmon or grilled chicken breast without the skin. Number 3, high sodium meals. Swap salty pickles and preserved meats for a potassium-rich spinach salad or some roasted potatoes. Number 4, grilled meat plus sugary drinks. Swap the soda for water and add vitamin C-rich veggies like bell peppers to your plate. Number 5, a drink with dinner. Swap the alcohol for a fun, non-alcoholic mocktail or some sparkling water with lime. And remember, it is not just what you eat, but when and how much. Try to finish your dinner at least 3 hours before you go to bed and aim to feel satisfied, not stuffed, about 70% full. If you eat too late or too much, your blood is busy in your stomach digesting, your brain gets less flow, and all that extra energy you don't burn gets stored as fat and cholesterol in your blood vessels. Friends, health isn't built from expensive supplements or fancy superfoods or fad diets you see on TV. It is built meal by meal, day by day, with the choices you make every single time you sit down at your table. Your brain is your command center. It controls everything. Protecting it is how you ensure you have a vibrant, independent, and high-quality life as you age. I truly hope this video empowers you to make one small change at your dinner table tonight. Just one. If you found this helpful, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. And most importantly, share this video with the people you love. Send it to your husband or wife, your parents, your grown kids, your friends. Let's build a community that eats smart and stays sharp together. Here is to good food, a healthy brain, and living your best life at every age. Take care of yourselves. If you're dealing with any health concerns, please schedule a visit with your primary care doctor. I'm here to help you understand the science, not replace professional medical advice.